Hey gang, AV here. Welcome to my review of the G.I. Joe Retro Collection Cobra Fang helicopter. Here it is in the box. As you can see, it is got a figure included in the window there. Not sure if you can see with the glare, but he's there, trust me. I will say, even though this is a retro release, this is a brand new sculpt for the Cobra Fang and all original artwork done in the retro style. So if you are, in my opinion, if you are a fan of this new design or not, that's still really cool that they went to that effort to put that in there in the retro style. I really do appreciate them doing that, and I think they pulled it off quite nicely. I mean, that's really good artwork, and it gets me in the feels because it's in the retro style, you know, with the explosion in the background and all that. I love that. So anyway, this is it in the box. It's a relatively thin box. Just says Cobra Enemy, Cobra Fang up top there. G.I. Joe on the side with a picture of the Fang. Picture of the Fang with some legal stuff. Picture of the Fang, G.I. Joe, Cobra the Enemy. And then on the back, you have the obligatory, I can never say that word, the product shot. With some more legal stuff there, a file card, which we'll have a closer look at in a minute, and just a couple pictures of some of the highlights on the thing, which we will discuss. So that's about it for the packaging. Before we actually get into the piece, let's have a look at the file card. Here it is. Normally I would ask you to read it, but since the information on here is so minimal, I will read it for you. It is the Cobra pilot. His role is the gyrocopter pilot. Primary specialty, aerial combat. Secondary specialty, hand-to-hand. Birthplace, various countries. Cobra air troopers are basic infantry grunts with wings. Like ravenous mosquitoes on a summer's night, they swoop down on their targets. I get a kick out of this because he's called the Cobra pilot, and yet they refer to him here as the Cobra air trooper. Kind of funny. But anyway, they have 5 different languages on here, so very, very little information on the file card itself. If you watched my other retro reviews, I've mentioned how large the file card is. They've shrunken it down, actually. Here it is next to a vintage file card, and you can see it's roughly about the same size. So they did shrink it down. So at least they listened to something I said. Yeah. It also came with the blueprint instruction sheet. If I can pick it up, there it is. This is not a typical blueprint that we would normally get with the vintage G.I. Joe vehicles. Instead, it's just done in the blueprint style. Just shows you where to plug the missiles and whatnot in, and how to apply the stickers. So there's that. And without further ado, here is the Fang. And as you can see, it's pretty neat looking. I like it. I mean, I've read a lot of people online actually criticizing this thing, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I like the armor detail. I like the fact that it's kind of meaty. Probably has more going on with it than the original. It just seems hardier. I also like the fact that you can actually unplug the rotors for easy storage, which I'll look at in a second. But before we actually look at the Fang itself, let's get the pilot out of here. There he is. Have a closer look at him. He does come with this sidearm, which we'll have a look at. Decent looking piece. This does fit in his holster. Nice and snug. It's not coming out. He has a hose that attaches to his face mask here, which does plug into his chest. It's very easy to unplug, as you can see. But it holds in there pretty securely. It's got a barb on the peg, so it does fit on there very nice. His helmet, on the other hand, is quite loose on his head, which is a little unfortunate. I can imagine this is probably going to be the first thing lost on this guy if you actually give him to your son to play with. So be careful for that. Overall, I do like the design of the guy. I think he looks decent. A Cobra emblem on him somewhere would have been nice, but you know, we take what we can get. He does have a permanent pistol there on his vest, which is not removable. But all in all, I think he looks pretty decent. Let's get into his articulation. Because of the hose, his head limit is going to be limited, but you can get from side to side. It does not hinder that. He can look down and up. He can tilt from side to side slightly, so that's not too bad. Arms, full 360. They can go up about that high. Nothing at the bicep. His arms can flatten out. They can also do a little over 90 degrees. Wrists, oh, I'm sorry. Full rotation there at the elbow as well. His wrists, full 360 degrees. They also pivot down and up, which is very nice. It actually helps him hold the yoke on his copter, which is really cool. He has a diaphragm joint, which is a little hindered by his vest, but not too bad. I mean, you can definitely get some bend out of that, side to side, twist, whatnot. Legs, kick up about that high, back about that far. He can do the splits almost flat, which is incredible. Kick his heel back about that far, double jointed knee. Ankles, twist at the top of the boot, point down, point up, and he has a rocker joint. So he's got excellent articulation for a vehicle driver. And again, his helmet, that's the only downside I have for the guy, is it doesn't really fit on his head that well. It's a little loose. But he actually has some sculpted hair there, which is pretty interesting. I'm not used to seeing that. All in all, he's a decent figure. I do kind of like him. Now, for the Fang itself, we'll have a close look at this. It's got nice molded detail there for the engine and whatnot. It does have armored panels to help protect it in battle, which is what I think. I think that's kind of a practical application for a gyrocopter. Exposed engine there. It does not have the removable cage that would house the engine. Instead, it has a permanent molded piece in there, which is nice because the cage is one of the first things that gets lost on the vintage ones. It is missing the foot pegs on the skids, which is a little unfortunate. So this is only a single figure vehicle, and it is also missing the handle to spin the tail rotor, which is a little unfortunate. It does spin, however. If you can get like your finger in there, you can actually get that to turn, but I don't have long enough fingernails to pull it off. I need like a pencil or something to get in there, and I don't have one handy. But does have some nice molded detail. Figure's legs fit in there with no real issues. It has a modern figure back peg to hold him in place. Figure, as you saw, could hold on to the yoke, no issues. The front cannon can pivot down in one direction, but you can rotate it in any direction. So you can actually get it to point wherever the hell you need it to point. So no real issues there. The rotors, as I mentioned, come unplugged for easy storage, which is nice. Of course, the missiles come off of the skids. Kind of secure on there. Come on, there we go. Come on, there it is. You have 4 identical missiles, and they are different than the original. They have like a round peg on the back, so you're not going to be able to interchange these, unfortunately. Same can be said for the bottom bomb. It has a different pegging system than the original, so no swapping parts with that either. Speaking of the original, I actually have a very beat up one handy, so you can do some size comparison. As you can see, the new one is, even though it kind of looks smaller, it's actually bigger. They are roughly about the same size, if not the new one is actually a hair longer, and it's definitely taller than the original. Again, a lot of people have been criticizing this thing online, and I gotta say, it's growing on me. I mean, I really do kind of like this, especially when I have it next to the original. It just seems more substantial and a little bit more believable as an attack copter, quite frankly. It's pretty cool. I like it. Like I said, it's missing the foot pegs in the skids, which is a little unfortunate. And because this is just straight up plastic, it spins okay, as you can see, but because this had a metal pin, this spins a lot better, a lot more freely. So this has foot pegs and a freer spinning rotor. So two bonuses for the vintage, at least, as well as the spindle here so you can spin the tail rotor easily. Definitely some pluses and minuses for both of them, in my opinion. You saw it with a modern G.I. Joe figure. I'll get him back out here just so we can finish our size comparisons here. Just stand him up there. Here he is next to a vintage G.I. Joe figure. He is noticeably taller. Vintage collection Luke Skywalker figure, who's always a little on the short side. A Boss Fight Studio blank. Marvel Universe Captain America. All of which would fit in there pretty easily, frankly. This guy won't, probably. The Master Chief from the World of Halo line. He's a little too big, I think. All in all, I do recommend this thing. I think it's pretty neat. I like it. It is definitely not the original. It is definitely a modern take on the original. But I like it. I really do. It is definitely growing on me in all the right ways. So anyway, this has been AV. This has been my review of the G.I. Joe Retro Collection Cobra Fang. If you like this video, check out my channel. If you like what you see there, then please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.